call this Board of Equalization Monday, April 10th meeting to order. Notice was properly posted. Have a roll call. Mr. Brett Town.
Here.
Vice Chairman Eleanor Thompson.
Here.
And I'm Patrick Crawley, the Chairman of the Board. We've got a full board this morning. First item is discussion, possible action regarding approval of the minutes of March 22nd, 2023.
So moved. Good enough.
Got a motion?
Second.
And a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Next item, they're not here. We'll have to either reset it or if we find them over in the crowd. Next item that's actually where we have somebody here is item number 3, BOE number 46. It's the property at 1709 Northwest 101st Street in Edmond.
81st Street.
181st. What did I say?
101st.
101st, okay. I left 80 out, okay. It's the property 1709 Northwest 181st Street. And I believe Mr. Christopher Murphy is here. And the way we do this is really informal. So we'll have you come up, take one of these chairs, and first you will tell us what you want us to know about your property. Then we'll hear from the assessor. Then you'll have an opportunity to respond to the assessor's presentation.
All right, well, my name is Chris Murphy. I live at the, looks like he's pulled it up. That's not my house. We purchased our house on July 28th, 2020 for $375,000.
I went to the wrong building.
And,
Oh, no worries.
So how much?
$375.
Okay.
Speak before the board.
And the 2020 tax year, it actually was overpriced at $387, and I made a complaint back then, and they lowered it down to my contract price of $375. And it stayed that way for 2021 and 2022. And then this year we got a tax notice that they had raised the value of the property to $528,000. So from $375 to $528. And
So it was 375 in 2020, 2021, 2022.
correct.
Okay.
Well, it was $387 in 2020, but I disputed that because we've only paid $375 for it.
Gotcha.
So.
So, but they lowered it down to 375.
And it stayed that way for the last 2 years.
Okay.
And I was told by whoever, I didn't never get to talk to Mr. Stein. I believe it was Steve Stout, that there's a comp in our neighborhood that sold April 4th, 2022 for $535,000. And that is not the same as my house, and it's comparing apples to oranges. It's a much bigger house. It has a second story build out that has a kitchen, a formal bedroom, and a bathroom, I believe, almost like a second, like a living, a mother-in-law arrangement type deal. We don't have that in our house. We're a single family, my wife and I and our kids.
The upstairs of that house is, you say it was set up like a mother-in-law?
Yeah, and it was built out. It was originally attic space, I believe, and they've built it out.
Okay.
And it's not the same floor plan as my house either, and it's a much bigger house. So they're trying to take this $535,000 sale on this house that's around the corner from us as the valuation for my house. And I tried to explain that it wasn't the same, and I asked them to come out and do an inspection of my house, and they told me they don't do that. So I said, well, how can you evaluate a house without actually coming out and looking at it and comparing what you're evaluating at on the sheet compared to what it actually is in real life? So
How many square feet do you have?
3,553.
Mr. Murphy, what's the address of that house that you're saying is an outlier?
18101 Barrington Drive.
And this is in the Providence
Correct.
neighborhood, okay.
If he zooms in on my house, I can show you where it is. come pull it up a little bit. Barrington is that cross street down, or, yeah, up, scrolling just a little bit.
Oh, right here.
Yeah, it's inside the neighborhood, but it's, Barrington's that far right street in the neighborhood. Yeah, there we go.
And where's the house located at?
I think it's about the third one down on the, from the south, from 181st Street. Well, it's 18101, so whichever one that one is. Yeah, right. Anyway.
Okay.
We've had others, I mean, if you look at the county assessor sheet here, August 19th, 2021, we had a house sell for $432,000. December 1st, 2021 was 502. June 29th, 2020 for 420. So this house that sold, that's affected my property, is an anomaly in the neighborhood. It's a much bigger house and was sold for a much higher value. But part of my complaint today, I actually sent in some comps that I've found. OpenDoor.com lists my house for $423,000. This was on February 15th, so when I made this appeal. Realtor.com has a valuation provider of $477,349, $459,476, or $478,532. So anywhere from $459 to $478 for my house. What is this one? Redfin, $471, $474. Zillow has the estimate or Zestimate at $463,700, and their valuation ranges from $441 to $487. And then my bank, Discover Card, wants me to tap into my home equity all the time, and they send me a form, and they list my house at $465,800. So the county's evaluation is clearly way higher than any estimate that I've received or have seen from various online entities. And my mortgage company actually sent me a statement yesterday, and they estimate my house at $487. So
How did you arrive at 459?
I took an aggregate of those numbers I just threw out to you and divided them by however many numbers that is.
Okay.
My mortgage company sends me what they call a home bot every month, and the chart actually shows my house going down in value over the past 2 months. So
Now, you know it's January 1. The valuation date that's important to us is,
no, I understand, but so the county assessed it at 528. I got them to knock it down to 500, but I still think they're high, and that's why I appeal to you guys here today.
Anything else you want to tell us right now?
I think that's all I got for now.
Okay. We'll hear from the assessor.
So the location is on North Pennsylvania and Northwest 178th. Yeah, we had it on at 528, and we did lower it to 500. He is requesting 459. He was on for 375 the last couple of years, and he did appeal the value back in 21 and did get that lowered. But obviously, we know the last couple of years the market has gone up quite considerably, and anything we take into consideration, anything that's going on now, we'll take into consideration at a later date. We can't really do anything about that, but we currently support values based on what we come up with, and we're not going to get, obviously, any property to be exactly like his. That's pretty much near impossible, but what we can do is the comps that we provided will make all the necessary adjustments to get him to where it's exactly or as close to his as possible, and that's why we arrived at the value that we did. And there really weren't a lot of 22 sales. We found like 2 22 sales, so we're going to have to kind of go back even further to kind of see what's out there. And I even did I was just kind of looking at my appraiser that did the work, did some very good work to even support a lower value. And I, just for my own benefit, I did some comps of my own that went back to 20, and I try to get the ones that used a very minimal amount of adjustments, and I support a median value of $544,511. And a lot of these places that are sources that will come up with their own values, what they don't account for that we account for is obviously market trend from when they sold to what it would be as of January 1st of this year. So that's why we currently support the value of what we did, and we did lower it to the 500.
Anything else?
At this current time, no.
Okay, so you've gone out and done an assessment on my house? Is that what you just said? You went out and assessed my house?
No, I did not assess your house.
So you're coming up with those based on sales in the area?
Yes, going back to 2020.
But you're saying it's 544, so you're trying to increase it higher than the original?
No, I'm just letting you
tax
know
statement.
that I can even support a value much higher than what was originally
Well, I can
brought
support
to
a
you.
value that's much lower then. I mean, there's no way I'm gonna get $544,000 for my house. I mean, if that's the case, I'll sell it to you for today for that amount, but.
I mean, we hear that quite a bit, but I mean, we're just going off raw analysis that our sales team runs, and we
Yeah,
just.
and I specifically asked, and nobody was willing to come out and actually do an actual evaluation of my house, not around the market and comps in the area, my house, and you all told me no, so.
Now, you do know that the county assessor is the Oklahoma County assessor,
Correct.
therefore responsible for every piece of property, be it.
I understand that, and I'll tell you why. Once I appealed to them,
Although I will tell you that every 4 years, they do physical inspections, and this just wasn't a year for yours.
well, and that's what I told them. I said, well, if I'm gonna make a complaint against you and file an appeal, then I think you should come out and look at my house. I don't care if you're the Oklahoma County assessor and you only do it every 4 years. If somebody makes an appeal, then you should come out immediately and look at the house.
Well,
You think the
Could be
assessor is
physically
capable
impossible.
of that? Do you know how many?
How many appeals do you have?
Oh, tons, honey.
hundreds.
Well, I mean,
Hundreds. No, seriously.
well,
We-
seriously,
we are lined
hundreds.
up
If they
to
hit
go.
every 4 years and then they hit the hundreds that have, they should hit those hundreds that appeal every year as well.
Yeah, they're not gonna be able to.
Just
do
like,
it. They don't have that many
you know,
people.
I practice law, so if we want to go do a building inspection on something, we go do a building inspection. I'm not going to rely on my client or the other side to tell me, well, I think it's this. Like, no, we want to go see it in person, see what really is going on with it, if there's a defect or whatever it is.
I understand that, but if you're in a time crunch on, you have so much time.
Well, I've given them since early February and they
Okay.
still didn't come out.
I understand
so.
that, but we're talking about hundreds.
And I'm talking about not ripping off the taxpayer, and that's me, so.
Well, nobody's ripping you off.
Well-
I mean, they set their value, we'll set ours.
Hey, and I'm being fair. I didn't come in here and say my house is worth the $375 that it's been valued for 2 years. I didn't say that. I said it just hasn't gone up as much as they're saying it has.
Okay. Anything
I'm
else
trying
you
to
want?
figure out why something held its value for 2 years in the market that's, or the last 4 or 5 years, has been increasing exponentially every year. So anyway, that's just my thought. Let me ask a question. The comp that you referenced, 18101, is not in their comps.
It's on their
Is it?
sheet. That's actually what they told me on the phone. It's on this this public form that you pull up on the internet from the county assessor.
Okay, I was just looking at the sales comparison approach.
It's comp sale number 2 on this sheet here.
Okay, I have comp 2 as 8317 Dax Drive.
Okay, well, that's changed obviously since
Am I
March.
on the wrong-
This was written on March 3rd, but
Sheet.
Yeah, you gotta get back into January. It's the value as of January.
well,
1st.
this is what I pulled up
Yeah, but.
when I was appealing, so.
Yeah, I was just looking for that, and I just see one on Grass Creek, Dax, Crew.
Are you looking at the right house? Because none of those are on
Am I on the right one?
You might be looking at a different.
I'm sorry, I may have clicked the wrong one. Pardon me.
Yeah, I did say that.
Okay, pardon me. I'll get right on the right one. Okay, pardon me.
Did you find it?
I did.
Thank you.
And I guess you're making the assumption that because it says comp sales, that because it's on their sheet, that is what they use to use.
No, that's not my assumption.
Oh, okay.
That's what they told me on the telephone.
Okay, okay.
When I had my informal appeal on the
Okay.
phone. That was the one they threw out, well, you had a house sale last year for $535,000, and I said, well, that's not my house, but, somebody got way higher of a value than they have in our neighborhood in a while.
Do you
so.
know what the square footage is of that house that you say they built out their attic?
I don't know it, it doesn't say on the sheet.
But you do know when you use other properties that adjustments are made. They don't just say, okay, there was that house that went for over 500, so therefore they.
I understand that.
Okay. Okay,
But there's a reason why it sold for that much,
yes,
yes,
and that's the one where they built out that.
that's correct.
Okay.
Okay. Anything else?
I don't think so.
Okay. All right, I'm gonna close hearing on BOE number 46. What will happen is that Friday, the board will decide what we believe the market value of your property is. And a letter will be sent out. You'll get it either Saturday or Monday, depending on how you mail it.
Right. We don't know what the mail service
Yeah.
is.
Right. And, let's see.
So it's your call. We do need to adjourn at about 10:30, or not adjourn, I should say recess. I received a notice that Ogilvy Investments will not be here, but Mr. Martin is here, so it's your call either if you want to try to get it all in or you want to recess in the middle of it. I mean,
Well, let's see if we can.
thank you.
Thank you all.
Yes, sir, thank you, good presentation. Let's have, all right, we'll open up on the second agenda item, BOE number 27, 8116 Ridge Creek Road, and I understand Mr. Richard Martin is here.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
How y'all been?
Great.
Right side dirt.
That's a good place to be.
When, tell us what you want us to know about this property. Oh, you see how it's gonna work. You're gonna tell us, we'll hear from the assessor.
Sure.
And you'll have the opportunity to respond, okay?
So, we had looked at our home, and we had sent in some comps, and then, of course, we heard back that based on, they gross them up based on differences of homes to bring it up to an equal comp. So they can look apples to apples when you look at them. So I understood that when they looked at that. So what I did was, I still think our house is overpriced for the value. So what I did was I went through your county website, your data, your information, and I looked through all the homes in my street, my neighborhood. And that's what I did here, basically looked at it, and I looked at homes with pools, homes without pools, homes about the same size, homes built by the same builder, so basically the same type of home. And my home was the highest house per square foot in the neighborhood of $230 a foot.
And you get 231.9.
231. And the median's about 207. And I think what I'm saying is I probably should be somewhere around 216. And it's about what it is the value you had last year on it. There's a home identical to our home. It doesn't show that as far as the square footage, but 8208 is the same home as 8160.
How many square is that in your?
My home, it says 2572 on your database.
Is that accurate?
I'd have to go back and check, honestly, I don't know for
Okay.
sure. I just used your information. I didn't want it, I thought that was the best data to use. And then I looked at 8208, which is the same home. I've been in it, seen when it's for sale, and it says 2522, and it's priced at $213 a foot. It doesn't have a pool, and so that's the only difference between my house and that house. They're identical, the same. So that's where I thought and then I just basically said, let me just take a look at all the homes. You see, all y'all's data, I didn't want to go in and try to do anything different, and we're way high priced, and so I just think there's some inequity there, and to see if we can get some balance back
So
out.
you reached the 5565 using $216 a
Yeah,
square
$216 a foot,
Gotcha.
yeah. So it brings me above the average. If you look at what I came up with for homes with pools, I think there's an average I had for homes with pools. Just give me a second. I wanted to see if it was worth me coming down here to see you guys. And let me see. I think the homes with the pools had a, let's do 13, 25.
If y'all want to see
Yeah,
a
the homes with the pools.
aerial
were-
of the where he's at, I don't mean to interrupt.
Yeah.
I just want to. Here's an aerial of.
Yeah. and
Here's the subject property right here.
and
I know it's not my time to speak. I just wanted to kind of give
Right.
you guys a.
And I looked at all the homes on that entire street, on both sides of the street and around, all the homes on that street. And homes with pools and homes without pools. And the homes with pools priced average of $214 a foot. When I took them all, there's
Right.
4 of them. I didn't include mine in that calculation because mine was really high. I didn't want to skew it. I just would look at those 4 to see what it was. So I'm basically saying leave it where it was valued last year.
556.
Yeah, that's basically what I'm saying. And I still think it's probably a little higher, but I thought, well, let's just go with that and see what you all think. But from a price per foot, yes, this is your data. This is something's going on. It's weird. I shouldn't be $230 compared to the average being $207 a foot in the same neighborhood, on the same street, but roughly the same vintage of homes.
Based on the assessor's valuation, not based on sales.
This is based on your data from your database.
Okay, you keep saying your, I understand.
I'm
it's not
saying
part of
the
it.
assessors, I'm
Okay,
sorry,
that's all right.
I apologize.
No.
But the assessor's
That's okay.
database, I just thought that'd be the best information to use.
Sure.
This is in
Yeah, it's
watermark.
important that you.
It's over on
Coffee Creek
Um,
and Douglas.
Blue, it's on Blue, it's right there in Ridge Creek.
The neighborhood's watermark though.
It's the other side. Watermark's a little bit lower for some reason than ours, maybe, but it's right on the other side.
Okay.
Yeah. Some of the comps in Watermark are a little lower.
Right, it's
Yeah, they are.
smaller.
Yeah. But I didn't use those. I didn't use any of those in this review. I used only the ones over in my neighborhood, so. I think that's all I have. Any questions for me? I know you all have time, and I don't want to take up too much of it.
Oh, that's right. We want you to give us everything that we need to know. Do you have anything else?
Well, I looked at homes like my size of my home. When I looked at homes like the same size as my home, I think the average was, it was 194, 213, and 213 per foot. So the average was.
In your neighborhood?
Yeah, in my neighborhood, right on my street, $194 a foot, all the way to 213. Those are the 3 with my size. And then when I looked at homes with pools,
Where did you come up with a square foot?
I just took off your website, I took the square footage by the price, by the value, the market, the value you put on it.
Sale price of that?
No,
No value.
the value that you all put on the website for
I got
that
it.
year.
May I interject you for a second? I would like to just, because I know we're on a time crunch. I did some analysis this morning. I thought what you were initially given during the informal, the comps were a little bit too crazy. I ran some of my own because the original comps that were used in he's the only one that has a pool out of the comps we used originally. I did some more comps on my own to kind of see, comparing it. He's the only one that has a pool, but I found going back using 322 sales and 321 sales, I come to a value of where he was on at last year. I would recommend to the board of lowering him down to $556,000 for what he was on last year.
556 even or 556.5?
Sorry, $556,000.
Okay. You understand what the assessor's saying?
I agree. I think I appreciate that.
That if you're agreeable to that,
Yes.
a
Thank you.
motion to,
Now, I just want to understand, is it flat or is it 500?
No, I'm sorry, $556,000.
even.
Okay.
Even, yes.
Because
My
he
bad,
said
sorry.
556, 500.
Yeah, that's what I had for it.
Okay.
All right.
I think if you're going to do that, you should agree with what he asked for, and he's asking for 556, 500.
That's fine.
Okay, well, that's fine.
All right, that's what he wants to agree. We have a motion for an agreement.
Okay, so I move that we set BOE number 27 at 556,500.
Second.
No, wait a minute,
No.
556,000 even.
No, 500. That's what he asked
Yeah,
for.
we went to 500, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. 556,
Huh?
500. That was my number.
That was his number.
We went with my number. Yeah.
we understand the assessor is offering 556 even.
Well, whatever you all like to
That's
do.
okay.
I'm okay with the less. don't get me
I'm
wrong.
okay
I
with
think I
it.
have 500 in my pocket, let's go.
I'm
That's
going
not
556, 500.
I second.
All right,
That's fine.
all those in favor?
Aye.
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 Thank you. Y'all have a great morning.
I do
Congratulations.
want to have a conversation how they've stayed the same for 2 years and they jump up high and then now we're 2 years at the
So
same price.
Ogilvy's not here. Let's adjourn.
Yeah.
We do need to adjourn.
Need a
Yep.
motion
to adjourn?
Adjourn. Yep, we're done.
Yeah, the Ogilvy's not
Ogilvy's
here.
Okay.
not here.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, we're adjourned. We will come clean up afterward. And then if you want me to just call him and we can reset him, or you can set him Friday, but it's
Yeah,
up to
we
you. Okay.
We got, we have a statute.
Hey, can you do me a favor?
Yes.
Can you push that wide X in the middle up there for me?
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you, sir.
There you go. You're welcome.